My name's Mansoura Mirz, I'm 66 and I've been Muslim 43 years. English, born near Manchester. My religious background, if you can call it, was not very great. I was born with parents who weren't particularly religious. My father actually was dead against anything religious. My grandmother was quite religious. I was given some sort of belief system by Swiss au pair girls who came and lived with us, one each year, and they were like big sisters to me. I only had brothers, and they gave me a way to pray to God. So I always used to pray to God and make sincere prayers when I knew there was trouble on, because my father went through some difficult times, and so I used to go behind his armchair when he was out and make lots of prayers, oh God, please help him. But at 14, I became a Methodist because my school was, you had to do something when you were 14. Most people came into the Church of England, and there were two sort of classes. You could either go to the bishop who taught you about Church of England, or you could go to the Methodist preacher. And the bishop was not somebody you really admired, but the Methodist guy was fantastic, full of heart and sincerity, and I thought, okay, I want to be like him. So I wrote to my parents, it was a boarding school, saying I want to become a Methodist. So they said, fine, okay, whatever you want to do. But I did make my mother come with me to find Methodist churches, but they were very modern and weren't as nice as the old Church of England, the one that was near us. Anyway, as I got into teenage years, that went out of the window. God was put on hold, if you like, and where I actually didn't know what anything was about, how to be in the world, what choices to make. It was the 60s, the 70s, everything was wide open, but what's right, what's wrong, this was all an enigma to me, and it was quite disturbing actually, so I did get quite depressed thinking, okay, what is the way, what is the point of life? And until I met the Muslims, and then it rang a bell, okay, there is a point, there is a plan, there is a God, and you can actually communicate with him, and you can have a way to live your life that's balanced. So the way in which I actually became a Muslim was partly through my husband, who was then my boyfriend, who always felt there was a way to live one's life, you just had to find it. So he used to go off to all kinds of people, gurus, pseudo-Sufis, anyone who might show him the way. And nothing made sense until he was given a book which was set in the future, really, about how this particular person had become Muslim. And as he read and walked out of the shop, he saw a poster for an open public meeting with something to do with calligraphy and something vaguely to do with Islam. So he thought, oh, so he went to that. At the meeting, he met the author of the book. So this was a huge moment for him, and he went afterwards with that person for a meal, and everything clicked. He said, this is what I've been looking for. But actually, the person, the sheikh, said, hang on, let's see, where's your life, what are you doing, who are you with? And he held him off for 3 months from becoming a Muslim. So then I had to make a decision, okay, is this what I want? And I wasn't very sure, because I was fed up with ways to live your life, and I'd been to quite a disciplined school where you're woken every morning by a bell at 10 to 7. I think I don't want anyone waking me up at any hour of the night or day to do anything. So it took me a while to think about this, but it did ring a bell, okay, in somewhere deep in my being, okay, yes, there is a God, there is a way. So in the end I made the decision and jumped in. Well, what concerned me was that this is quite a difficult, regimented life, and also because my first experience of it was immediately living with other Muslims. So there was no let-up. You weren't just in your home thinking about, okay, I'll do this, I'll maybe go to the mosque. You were there 24/7, you were with the Muslims. So it was very full-on, but alhamdulillah, that's good in one way, because you were totally immersed in it. And I just gradually took on everything that I needed to do, but you know, life's learning, and you never stop learning. So Islam gave me a way to interpret my life. So events and things that happen to you, you can see or I can see a meaning in them. Okay, so whether it's difficulty or joy, the good and the bad all have a meaning for you, so you can turn things to Allah, God, and you're not just adrift on a sea without any navigator. There's a navigator, which you could say is Muhammad, the Prophet, peace and blessings be on him, and following his way, all these things that first of all I found very difficult. Okay, why do we have to wear long dresses? Why do we have to wear a scarf? But the more you do it, the more you feel, yeah, this is right. It's a kind of protection. In fact, I remember when I came back from Hajj, seeing all the population in London. I was going in a taxi through London. No one had anything on their heads. And I thought they're all going mad, because it's like a protection. And if you look at old movies, most of the men, most of the women wore some kind of thing on their head. Like my father always wore a hat, and he doffed it when he greeted people. But you know, so in one way it's a seen and an unseen thing. You know, your head's totally exposed to the elements or whatever. It's also exposed to all the energies that are coming at you. So although sometimes I think, gosh, I wish I could take this thing off, and I do when I'm by the sea or with no one around, etc. But on the other hand, you feel the safety of it. It's a kind of protection. It was difficult with my parents after I became Muslim, because my father had lived in Egypt for 3 years in the war. He'd studied Arabic. He could actually quote the Quran at me. Okay, ayat so-and-so says this, yes. So he was initially thinking, okay, what are you doing? You're an educated British Muslim, you know, I mean British woman. Why are you taking this religion of these foreigners who are a bit backward, etc. Although he had good friends in the Egyptian army, he probably still thought it was a backward religion. So I think it took a long time for my parents to see, okay, there's actually something all right about this. She seems fairly okay. The children seem very nice. They're all right so far, you know. So, and towards the end of their lives, God bless them, I was given the chance to help them a bit, and I think that did turn the tables, because, okay, she's giving something back, you know. And so I think there was, by the end, I think I definitely felt my father knew the truth, and the same with my mother. So with other people, though, with friends, I've still got connections with people who knew me when I became Muslim, and I still think they might become Muslim. It's a long time, but you never know. And lots of people I've met as well through all sorts of things. You know, the head of a RE department in a local school has always connected with me, especially when there's different annoying things happening in the media. She always says, Mansoura, what do you think about this? And that's not the true Islam, is it? And I go, no. So we have a whole dialogue going between us. And obviously I've met so many people since I've become a Muslim who are my friends, who I probably would never have connected with outside the deen. You see extraordinary qualities in people who perhaps before I was a Muslim I would have dismissed, or I wouldn't even seen the qualities. I would have thought, well, she's hard to get on with, so I'll just go my own way. Now you start to think, okay, she's got amazing qualities. I can get something from this, and maybe I can give something in exchange. It is a very clear, easy, straightforward religion. I wouldn't even call it that, way of life. Try and avoid the media craziness that's going on, everything in the world that's telling you it's mad. There is a meaning to life, there is a way. If the intention is there, you will find the way. And I would just say all the best to anyone who's thinking of this.